Hey guys, it's Savy Pearson. So I just wanted to tell you about a huge thing that just happened to me recently. I went on a service learning trip through my school, and if you guys don't know what that is, you should definitely find out if your school has one because it was the best experience of my life. It's pretty much they take 16 to 20 kids and we go to some sort of place around the US and just do a service. So, what we did was environmental service since I go to an environmental school. And we went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming to the Teton Science School up there in the mountains, which was beautiful. You have first day we went on a plane to get to Wyoming, which was crazy, crazy scary because I had never been on a plane before and I had to go on two in the same day. So we took the first flight to Chicago from the Grand Rapids Airport, and it was pretty scary. Like, not very scary, but I just wasn't used to it, and there was like a little bit of turbulence. Not too much. Everybody else said it was completely fine. But I was scared for my life. Like, I was holding death grip to the seat when it took off, and I freaked out when it landed. But then we got on the second one, and it was like, no big deal. Like, I've done this before. This is fine. But the biggest problem for me was going through security because they're crazy around there. Like, they pretty much think you're all just murderers or terrorists or something. And so when you walk through security, they have to check all of your stuff. You have to put your backpack through this big, like, I don't even know what it is. It's like a big scanner, and it pretty much scans it for scandalous objects. I don't know. But I came out clean, and they let me go on the plane. It was fine. And once we got off the plane, we went to this place called Antelope Island. Once we got to, I think it was Salt Lake, and that's in Utah. And we went at Antelope Island, and there were so many grasshoppers. Literally, I have not seen that many grasshoppers anywhere. I didn't even know that a place existed that there were so many grasshoppers. They were just flying everywhere and getting into the cars and getting my hair, and everybody was freaking out. But it was fine. We saw a lot of antelope, and we saw a bunch of bison too. Like, bison are kind of cute, but also kind of terrifying because they look like they could just, like, kill you, which they probably could. Anyway, we went on this series of rocks that they call the ladyfinger. I don't know why they call it that, but it's pretty much a bunch of jagged red rocks, and I climbed, like, all the way to the top and then all the way down to the beach, which was really cool. But when you, like, touch the water, since it was so salty because it was the Great Salt Lake, your fingers would, like, burn and get all, like, really dry, and then you'd have this pasty salt on your fingers, and it was a weird experience. I'm shooting a video. Be quiet. So then when we got off of Antelope Island, which I was kind of happy with because I really didn't like the water. It was just too salty for my taste. And then we got into the cars and we drove to the hotel where we were staying in Idaho. And it was a Super 8 motel, and I don't go to hotels, I don't do things. And so when we got up in the morning, it was self-serve breakfast, which was free, which was great, and I got a bunch. But there was a waffle maker, and it was like, make your own waffle. So I was like, hey, this is new experience, let's do it, right? So I get this cup of waffle batter, and from the get-go, I knew I was going to mess up because right when I filled the cup, it just overflowed. And everybody was looking at me at this point because I had just dumped a bunch of batter on the floor, and so I had to clean it up. And then I had to put it in this big griddle. And when I poured it in, I had to turn it, but I didn't know that. It was just beeping at me like some angry monster, and I was like, well, what do you want? And so this guy comes up and just turns it for me, and I'm like, well, that was easy. So then I have to wait for, like, I don't know, 2 minutes, which seemed like the longest 2 minutes of my life. You have no idea. And then you have to flip it back over and open it. And so I opened it, and pretty much my batter had spilled everywhere, and my waffle was just, it had pieces, like, sticking off the sides because the batter had gone everywhere. And it was kind of doughy in the middle because I put too much in. I don't know. Apparently I can't make waffles. But then I see a little sign next to the waffle iron, and it says that children under the age of 18 need parental supervision to make a waffle. And the first time I looked at it, I was like, this is really stupid. Like, why do kids need parental supervision to make a waffle? But then I messed everything up and it made sense. I can't do things, guys. Anyway, the rest of the trip was really great. We got to stay at the Teton Science School, which is a K through 12 school in the heart of Wyoming, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And it's so beautiful. There are just trees everywhere, wildlife everywhere. On our service projects, we saw a few moose, and then once we were done with that, on our free day, half of us went to Yellowstone National Park and half of us went on an ultimate hike. I didn't go on the ultimate hike. I didn't want to die. But I went to Yellowstone and we saw a bear, which was really, really cool. But it was so far away and it looked really cuddly, but it could probably bite my face off if we're honest. So we stayed in the car and just kind of viewed it from afar. But it was really fun. And then the people who went on the ultimate hike said that that was really fun too. And they pretty much climbed all the way to a peak in the Teton Mountains and they got to see a ridiculously beautiful view. And all the pictures that they have are amazing. But I was really glad that I went to Yellowstone and I got this bracelet. Look at how dandy it is. It's like all glittery and stuff. Anyway, you probably can't see it that well. But yeah, so I had a really, really fun time. And even though I was the only sophomore that went on the trip and I didn't really know anybody in the beginning, which was really scary because I don't do social interaction, it was really fun at the end because I was pretty tight with everybody by the end of the trip and it was hilarious and we made jokes the entire time and I'm so glad I went. So if any of you guys are in a high school that provides a service learning program, I really encourage you to take that chance because it was one of the best experiences of my life and I'm definitely doing it again next year. Thank you so much for watching. I'm excited to share that part of my life with you and I hope you guys have a great